And now I'm being joined by Paige. Paige, thank you very much for coming on today's show and talking to me today. I'm interested to know, obviously, data is everywhere. We are inundated with it as how it's being spread about, but how are companies managing where it's being put, what's happening with it all, what's the current state at the moment?
Well, I think a lot of people right now are using data engineers to build pipelines to try and de-silo data. That's been true for a long time. It's just now it's kind of shifted from doing a sort of an extract from everything, transforming everything, and then loading it, which could be very slow and batch-based, to more of an extract and load, and then do the transform inside of wherever you're storing the data. Now, historically, I mean, for the last 10 years or so, a lot of times that data has been dumped in a data lake. And then something like Spark is used to do that combination and transformation into something usable, which is usually a columnar storage like Parquet or something along those lines. Or it's pushed into a data warehouse, a database for analytics, which is also a really good one anyway. It's going to be columnar. And I think that's pretty much the way people are doing it right now. They're getting a lot of you're seeing a lot of people having a data lake and a data warehouse, and they're trying to build multiple pipelines to go to both. And you've got your data scientists trying to do their work on the data lake, except they've got to extract because it's too big and they can't find everything. Oh, some of it's in the data warehouse. You know, it's kind of a problem.
It is, and it's getting that all under control is the next step, obviously. So talk to me about some of the challenges that obviously this current model presents and how we move forward to a more conducive model.
Well, I think the biggest challenge is you've got a separation between the data scientists and the business analysts, even though a lot of times they're trying to do similar things with the same data. And it's like, and the other aspect is there's two other problems. One is your data engineers are trying to build multiple pipelines for multiple teams, and everyone's having trouble finding the data. And then the third problem is if you're doing data science, even after you've proven that your model is good, you had to extract your data and work with it in memory on a single machine usually. Your accuracy is not that great, but still, it's a model, it's good. Yeah. But then it takes sometimes months, sometimes a year or more to go from that point into production because it has to be rebuilt in another technology that will scale.
I think that's fair to say, and it's interesting for how organizations do start on that journey and how they can kind of do it. And I think the best way to kind of wrap this up is obviously Vertica's got some great examples for this. So if you wouldn't mind just giving us some use cases that kind of instill what we've been talking about today.
All right. Well, I think what we're seeing right now is people are just merging the two. It's like the concept of the data lake and the data warehouse analytics database as two different things is going away. All your data is being stored usually in some kind of object storage, and you just query all of it in place, and you do your machine learning right there. Now, some good examples of that, United Group is a European company that both supplies things like set-top boxes and that sort of thing, and also targets ads. So if, say, Gillette sends two different ads, and one of them is, a lady with shiny legs, talking about how lovely, her short shorts, and then a guy who's standing in front of the mirror shaving his manly beard, and someone kisses his smooth cheek. It's like, so I have these two ads. It's like, how do I know which households to send them to? Well, United Group has the set-top boxes, and they can do machine learning on all of the historical, what shows do you watch, that sort of thing, and they know how to target those ads. And in real time, they can put those ads in the right place in the right household, so the single guy gets one ad and the married mom gets a different ad. So that's one good example. And I think another one is probably the trade desk. One of the big problems, of course, is the explosion of data, and the data is coming in really fast. So you have to be able to deal with streaming data, and a lot of times you have to respond very quickly.
Yeah.
And the way the Trade Desk has handled that is they have put all of their data into object storage, and they use Vertica to query all of it. Then they take their hot data and they actually push it into an in-memory database for sub 20 millisecond responses.
Okay.
So Vertica by itself can take, the 10 petabytes of data that they have and give them a response in 100 milliseconds, maybe 200. That's not fast enough for them.
Just keep growing, doesn't it?
So they're doing that craziness. And they're also trying to, as a value add to their customers, because they're doing ad targeting, they're giving them analytics reports. Mm-hmm. Every customer gets a report on every ad. So that's 40 to 50,000 reports that they generate every day on 10 to 15 petabytes of data. So what they do is they have a single subcluster that pulls in the streaming data and takes care of it, does all the ELT, does all the transformation and stuff constantly, and then they spin up 64 node subclusters as needed every day, do 40 to 50,000 reports, and then shut them down. So they're not paying Amazon for anything that they don't need.
Interesting.
So that's what we see a lot of, is that sort of merging of the data lake and the data warehouse, and we call it a unified analytics platform.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And when you put the context of how much there is, it really reinforces the conversation that we've been having and what is needed going forward. So, Paige, thank you for talking to me, explaining all of this. It's been great chatting with you.
Great chatting with you, too. Thank you for asking me on the show.
Always.